This episode of commandN, the iPhone parody rap, high-tech barbecue tips, and Lara's favorite tennis apps. Welcome to episode 258 of commandN. I'm Amber. We have a great show for you today, but first of all, I want to tell you that commandN is coming up on its 7th anniversary. I know, hard to believe. And we have a wonderful contest in store for all of our viewers, so stay tuned for that. Now, to start out with the top news of the week, I wanted to talk about a crowdfunding story. In our past episode, we talked a lot about crowdfunding, and of course, the news hasn't stopped. Most recently, Seth Godin has gone online and he started a Kickstarter campaign for his next book. As you know, Seth Godin has many popular books out there, mostly produced by traditional publishers. Now he's gone to Kickstarter and he has asked to raise $40,000, and last time I looked, he raised more than $90,000. So it looks like there's a lot of people who are interested in getting their hands on the latest from Seth.
It makes me happy. I think that there's something very special, whether it's a digital book or a paper book, that you can hand it to someone and say, here, this is the whole idea. This is not something in the ether, this is not a link. It's the thing.
If you've been following internet culture for a while, you will probably remember Me Zonday. He sang the YouTube original Chocolate Rain. Well, he is now back again years later. This time he is covering the song Call Me Maybe, of course with his very distinctive deep voice.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number. So call me maybe. It's hard to look right at your baby, but here's my number. So call me maybe.
If you've ever had your phone stolen, it is no laughing matter. However, hopefully you can laugh at this next video. This is an iPhone parody rap. It's the story of an iPhone thief who has gone on the bus and he has stolen the phone from some poor dude who was just sitting around minding his own business.
I got an iPhone, stole it off a boy going on the bus home. I got an iPhone, stole it on the bus on the way home. This phone really makes me happy, cause it's nice and it got a lot of appies. Stole it from a boy when he took a nappy. He woke up, now he's feeling really crappy, cause his phone is gone. It's in my pocket, Holmes. Should've known better than to fall asleep with a phone in your hand while you're sitting next to me.
We're awfully pleased to have Jeff Gray here, who's the Curator of Marketing and Communications for the Museum of Natural History here in Halifax. And you've got a really interesting exhibit that I think would be something our viewers would love. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Sure. This exhibit is called Out of This World, Extraordinary Costumes from Film and Television. It features more than 40 artifacts and costumes from some of Hollywood's biggest films. You see George Clooney's original Batman costume, Indiana Jones' jacket from The Last Crusade, the Holy Grail, his whip. There is a huge chunk of the exhibit devoted to Star Wars, including the original Darth Vader costume, William Shatner's gold tunic from the Mirror Mirror episode, replete with sweat stains under the arms. There's the Gorn, and a huge hit online has been Dan Aykroyd's Ghostbusters costume. A lot of people ask us about how this exhibit fits into natural history, and for us it was really about our science on a sphere. We knew we wanted to do a solar system show this summer and take people through space, and we thought a great way to get people excited and to promote it was to find a pop culture sort of science fiction way of getting people to see it, because really for a lot of people that's the only way that they sort of know and understand space, and so that was the starting point. Science on a Sphere, there are 81 of them in the world. It is a 6-foot round projection unit that shows a variety of data sets that show Earth, the different planets, the sun, moons, and just a lot of really interesting data about Earth in a really complex way, but very simple for the viewer who comes to see it. We have the only one in Canada, and it does different kinds of shows and exhibits and movies. We wanted to find a way to augment that with this exhibit. And so we identified early on that we wanted to go out and find audiences that had large Twitter followings and large Facebook groups. We also targeted agencies and marketing agencies that we knew would have those followings. We took a stormtrooper through Halifax on one afternoon, inviting them to an event here at the museum that used our Science on a Sphere. They didn't know what they were being invited to, just something that was really interesting. And we then announced the show using Science on a Sphere. For a lot of people, it was their first visit to the museum or first time with Science on a Sphere. And we announced the show, and people were very excited, and we had a great response.
If you are an iPhone user and you've managed to avoid getting your iPhone stolen, you'll appreciate this next segment from Lara all about the latest iOS apps for tennis lovers.
Here on commandN, we rarely talk about sports. Given the excitement of the recent French Open and the upcoming Wimbledon tournament in the UK, however, I was inspired to take a look at what's available in the world of tennis apps for iOS. Each of the 4 international tournaments has its own app displaying news, scores, and more. The Australian Open app was clearly in play for the most recent winter competition, and I used the French Open app while watching the men's final between Rafael Nadal from Spain and Novak Djokovic from Serbia. I was impressed with the radio functionality, which was live as events were happening, and the play-by-play live blog feature that you often see on sports websites for those who can't find a live video feed. Glancing at the Wimbledon and US Open apps for matches later this summer, they're functional as well, but I'd like to see them updated with 2012 information, as the info currently displayed is still for last year. For true fans, the starting point I'd recommend is the World Tennis Association app, also available on Android. It shows all tournaments with dates and more info. For the Grand Slam tournaments, it links you straight to the related app in the App Store. The WTA app also gives rankings, but for more visual info on this topic, I'd turn to the Tennis app, which has up-to-date news and photos, including headlines from ESPN, Yahoo, and Tennis.com, plus a rankings list that allows you to order players by country and check out who else is competing from your favorite place. I'll be keeping an eye on Wimbledon and US Open to see if they add new functionality to their apps for this year.
My webPICK this week is called Weber's on the Grill. This is a really great app for people who love to barbecue and want to learn more about how to barbecue really great meals. There are more than 250 recipes. There are also how-to tutorials and great tips. This is available on iOS devices and Android devices. However, the version that I like the best is the iPad version. It's very interactive, colorful, and great for having on hand when you're about to barbecue your next meal. That's it for this episode of commandN. As always, you can find us online at commandN.TV. We're also on Twitter and on Google+. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
I'm headed to the mall so I can meet a girl that I can call and give her an example how I chill in the food court and get free samples. When I take her on a date, my phone has an alarm clock so I'll never be late. I got an iPhone, stole it off a boy going on the bus home. I got an iPhone, stole it on the bus on the way home.